Hi everyone, welcome to Main Street Gardener. I'm a garden in zone 7B, and today I've been thinking a lot about my favorite seeds to start as we're in seed starting season, why they're my favorite, and why I think really everyone should plant these flowers. I just can't imagine not having cosmos, dahlias, zinnias, snapdragons, and sunflowers in my garden. So I thought I would talk to you today about these types of plants and how easy it is to grow them from seed. These are 5 plants that anyone can grow from seed and enjoy all through the growing season in their garden. I think the reason why these plants are so popular, and you've heard of them, you may have even grown them, is that they just provide such beauty in the garden, beautiful color, they're tall, they're great for cutting, and they're just reliable. They are so easy. I promise you, anyone can start these from seed. Some of these plants even prefer direct sowing. You just have to put seeds in the ground. These plants are really not fussy. Most of them don't need a lot of fertilizer or other things to help them grow and thrive. So I thought today I would share with you my 5 favorite seeds that everyone needs to have in their garden. I will continue to have these in mind this season. I have some fun ones planned, some new additions to my garden. So first up, we are going to talk about my all-time favorite, dahlias. Now, dahlias have become very, very popular. And if you are familiar with them at all, dahlias grow by tubers. And if you go and purchase tubers online through a vendor, they're anywhere from $6 to $30 a tuber. And if you're new to growing by tubers, it can be challenging. I have done it for many, many years. You'll see some of those dahlias right here. But last year, I discovered dahlia seeds, and it has been really a huge change and made a huge impact in my garden. So I wanted to talk to you about options for dahlia seeds and show you some images so that you know a little bit of the difference. Now, dahlia seeds are not going to grow like your great big, huge, beautiful dahlias that you see on Instagram and all over the place. They're a different type of dahlia, and they resemble a little bit more like a cosmos or a zinnia. So let's jump in and talk about them right now. So all dahlias, or dahlias, however you say it, you guys, they do make seeds. And there are producers that will save the seeds and collect them and then sell them. So you can go online and find dahlia seeds. And I'm going to give you an example of a great vendor. So one example of a great vendor that you could purchase from is Eden Brothers. Now, there are tons of options online, but Eden Brothers has some really unique dahlia seeds. Some that I'm really excited about are the first 2 that are actually compact versions. So they are not going to require staking. They grow probably 1 to 2 feet tall. So that's an option. So my experience growing dahlias from seed versus tubers was so fun and refreshing. I did start my seeds indoors and actually started them around February. My last frost date is the end of April, but typically we're not safe until around the first week of May. I started them indoors. After they got a little too big for their seed starting container, I bumped them up into 4-inch trays. From there, I babied them all the way until I could start hardening them off in late April. From then, they were a pretty good sized plant, and so I was able to plant them out in the garden. Now, dahlia seeds, if they are not compact, still need staking. They are going to grow very tall. They love to be cut as much as you can cut on them. They have long, beautiful stems. The pollinators are profuse. They absolutely love them. They do need some fertilizer, and they do like a rich soil. I use a lot of compost and a lot of water, especially during the heat of the summer. But even the seedlings, compared to my tuber dahlias, they lasted from early blooms in June all the way through till frost, and some were still hanging on after. So I can't say enough good things about dahlia seeds. So next up is snapdragons. So snapdragons, I think, are in everybody's garden. You may have already grown these. This is an image of some of my snapdragons growing in seed trays. And then I'll show you some planted out. Now, there are probably hundreds of different types of snapdragons. They are so easy to grow, so easy to plant from seed. You can also sow them in winter following the cool flower method, and then you can also direct sow them. I do recommend sowing them in seed trays and growing them indoors. I think you'll have much stronger success and germination because the seeds are tiny. So there's a good chance they could get blown away or drift around, and you just don't have as much success. Now, the beauty of snapdragons there are many varieties. I don't want to say most. Many varieties that actually bloom early spring when everything is just getting started. You can see here these pink and fuchsia flowers on the right are all snapdragons. They make beautiful tall stems. They're great for arrangements. And there are different versions or varieties of snapdragons. There are actually 3 different categories of snapdragons. So there's the early snapdragons that bloom really early in spring, maybe even before your last frost, into the warmer days. There's some that will last through the warmer days and some that will even last into fall. You may have seen snapdragons at different times of the year in your garden center. That's because there are different varieties. Now, starting them from seed, again, is very, very easy. You just need some seed trays, seed starting mix, and a pack of snapdragons. One pack's going to go a really long way. So let me show you a vendor and some varieties. So another great seed vendor is Johnny Seeds, and Johnny Seeds has tons of information on their website. So this is a page where it talks about the groups of snapdragons, and it talks about the temperature and all of that. From there, you can also see all the variety of snapdragons. And there are so many colors and types that can really work within your garden and what maybe your color theme is or what you're needing. There's also some mixes. So look for the color, I think, first, and from there you can read the description to see if the timing of the snapdragon is going to work for you. Now, Johnny's also has lots of seed starting information, but I can promise you sowing snapdragons is really, really easy. I'd also encourage you to check out sarahraven.com. She also has a podcast. She talks a lot about snapdragon seed starting. So again, these are just absolutely beautifully sweet little flowers that just add to a spring or summer arrangement. I think they are that nice complement in a flower arrangement, and they're just really easy to grow. So next up is 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿. I think 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿 need to be growing in everyone's garden. There has to be a patch where you could throw in some 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿 seeds. Now, 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿 are a seed that actually loves to be direct sowed, and it's so easy. So I like to sow mine sometime in May, depending on the weather. They're not fussy. They don't need a lot of fertilizer or super beautiful, rich soil. They'll grow in pretty much any condition, and you can get different varieties. So some of the ones that I had last year were extremely tall, 6 to 7 feet, but you can also find varieties that are smaller. They come in a variety of colors and are just so fun in the summer. They blow in the wind. The pollinators love them. And this is the version Cupcake. It's absolutely one of my favorites. They sparkle in the sunshine. I just can't say enough good things. And they are so easy. You can just throw out a few in a little patch and they will come up. They also love to be cut, so you can cut them over and over and over again. This is the apricota, is how I would say it. It is spectacular. This one is like iridescent. It's almost like it has gold in it. So if 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿 were candy, I would definitely be eating them. So they are just really, really fun, and you just can't go wrong with them. So let's look at a vendor and some seed options. Okay, so I'm going to take you back to Eden Brothers. Again, you could find these seeds on Johnny's, your local garden center, big box stores, pretty much anywhere sells 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿. But you can see such a great variety here. Again, just like your zinnias, you can really decide what your color palette's going to be. So if you prefer reds and apricot colors, peachy colors, you could choose those. There's also this compact dwarf version. I am super excited about those. Now, remember, 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿 just need to be direct sown after your last frost day when your temperatures are warm and your ground is warmed up. You just want to scratch your ground surface a little bit, put the seeds down, cover them with a little bit of soil, and give them some really good water almost every day until they germinate. Then they're just going to grow tall, beautiful, and continue to seed and produce blooms for you. So you just can't go wrong with 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿. I hope you will consider adding them to your garden. Just pick up a seed next time you're out at the garden center. You're going to love them. Okay, so next is zinnias. So if you haven't grown 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿, you've probably grown zinnias, or maybe vice versa, or maybe you've grown both. If you have not grown zinnias though, it's another option that is so easy to grow. They give you all summer long variety. Now, much like 𝐂𝐿, most varieties like to get really tall. I do encourage you to also direct sow these so you don't need any seed starting containers. You can also spread them pretty thick. They don't mind it. Now, in some areas, your zinnias can get moldy on the leaves, which can look a little yucky. If you're in a humid area, that can happen. Zinnias love to be cut. Once they're stems, you can't shake them anymore when they're kind of stiff. The more you cut, the more you're going to get. And there are all types of varieties of zinnias. I love the peachy apricot ones, mainly because I also like those in the 𝐂𝐿, so I typically grow those. Now, there are some newer varieties that grow smaller, so you can find those when you are looking for these seeds. Let me show you a vendor, and then we're going to cover our last flower. So another vendor that I love to order seeds from is Swallowtail Garden. And Swallowtail has tons and tons of seeds, just an endless amount. They have the Queen series, which is so popular. You can search by cut flowers. You can search by dwarf. They have over 126 different types. So just amazing. What I love though is they have this new series dwarf. These are going to be I think they go up to 4 to 5 inch double flowers, but they're shorter stems and they start blooming in as little as 6 to 8 weeks. So pretty incredible. They do have what's called the short stuff series. And the great thing about this site is they also give you lots of information and tips for starting indoors or starting outdoors. Now, I prefer to start my zinnias outdoors, but I know some people have issues with birds and other animals, and you can start them inside. You just follow your normal seed starting process. The last flower on my list is the sunflower. So if you are new to seed starting and you have some space, sunflowers can be absolutely gorgeous. There are so many varieties, just like the other flowers I've mentioned. There are dwarf varieties, there are shrub type varieties, there are the mammoth varieties, there are sunflowers that are colored white, some that are colored red and peach. so many options today to choose from. I think it's a great addition for the middle of summer to have that pop of yellow in your garden, in your flower arrangements. It also, sunflowers typically last till autumn and just bring so much to your home decor and your garden as a whole. So I have enjoyed a variety of sunflowers over the years. I've had every possible type the past 4 years, and I just love having that pop of yellow and fun in the garden. So check out all the websites I've mentioned. They all carry sunflowers. You can also get sunflower seeds anywhere, but for those special varieties, you do want to check out a seed vendor. So I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration for your spring and summer garden, and that if you haven't thought about growing one of these beautiful flowers by seed, that maybe you'll jump online and check out some of the sites I mentioned and try some of these this year in your garden. Let me know in the comments if you faithfully plant some of these beautiful plants, or if you're going to try one this year. I would love to hear your thoughts. My goal this year is going to be to add some of those dwarf versions to my garden so that I don't have to do as much staking. That's going to be one of the things that I'm going to try this year. I'll let you know how they go. Thanks so much for watching. Please click like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.